We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. My name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle.
And we're here for another great day. It's Monday morning. Hopefully you had an amazing weekend. We had an amazing weekend, a busy weekend, but we're glad that we're here with you. We're starting a new series. We're talking about the 4 seasons of marriage.
Yes.
You know, oftentimes we talk about the seasons that you experience before I do, but in that I do space, whether for you it's been 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, there are these 4 seasons that we're going to take the time to unpack. But listen, before we get into that conversation, we just want to welcome you no matter where you are from around the world. We want you to drop your city, your state, your country so that we can acknowledge you.
And make sure, guys, that you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. I heard from you this week. Some of you were saying, we do it. Every time you say it, we make sure that we share it and we like it. And we appreciate that. It really is helping us to spread this message across the 4 corners of the earth. And thank you.
All right, guys, we have a couple quick announcements. We're excited. We just had our Triggers Masterclass. It was great. We had about 100 people in there, something like that. It was a great interactive experience that gave people foundation for their lives in terms of how to remain anchored as opposed to being triggered and kind of tossed all over the place emotionally and mentally.
Yeah, we help them understand that they have the authority to take control over the triggers. And I also think that people felt validated because oftentimes, just out of ignorance and not understanding what's happening, we don't necessarily acknowledge a trigger for what a trigger is. And so understanding the anatomy of a trigger, why it happens, how it happens, and what different environments it happens in, and how to control it in all those areas was really transformational for a lot of couples. And then those couples that struggle to feel invalidated when they have a trigger, they got an opportunity to just sit there and listen while we talked about it so that their spouse said, oh, that's what she's been saying, or that's what he's been saying. So it was really validating for the couples. I think so many walked away feeling empowered, right? Looking for more, and hopefully they'll take those tools and use them in their lives and use them in their marriage.
Because to know and not to do is not to know.
Right.
So
you got to do the work.
Knowledge is empower. It's the application of knowledge. I love what Jody's saying. Jody's saying, loved our Triggers Masterclass. It was wonderful and so helpful. Thank you, Danielle. Have been practicing the nope.
Yay! Nope. I love it.
So you had to be there to know what she's talking about. But awesome, guys. And let me just give a quick shout out. We're not going through all the people who are here yet, but I got to give a quick shout out to my family. You know, Jewel and Gonzalez are on vacation celebrating their anniversary in Mexico, and yet they still find the time to show up for the show on time. I mean, see, if it was me, I know what I'd be doing right about now. But I'm glad that you're tuning in. We love you guys. We appreciate you.
What
and we thank you.
Be doing
you
right
know
now?
Good and well what we would be doing.
That's what you'd be doing.
You know what we would be doing if we was on vacation right now. I would have been like, bump that show. I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? But
moving on.
Yeah, there it is. All right, guys, let's get into today's conversation. Oh, really quick announcement. This is the week where Foundry begins. So people have been registering. Listen, you need to join. You need to join. If you are a husband, if you are a father, if you are a boyfriend, you need to join the Foundry. It is the most transformational process that I have been a part of that focuses on me, right? And we're getting a lot of those testimonials from the men who are part of it. So it's not too late. Jump in. We would love to have you. But we're talking today, this morning, about the 4 seasons, okay? The 4 seasons of marriage. Now, interestingly, you see here that there's winter, spring, summer, and fall. And just like in the earth, we have these seasons. Now, what's interesting about these seasons, I'm about to be 46 in 2 weeks. My birthday's in 2 weeks, right? So I'm letting you know. I'll give you my address. You can, no,
oh my gosh.
That means that I have experienced 45 winters, 45 summers, 45 spring seasons, 45 falls, right? And the way that the earth works, you have all 4 seasons in a year. It's approximately 3 months per season. And then there you got the equinox, you got the sun, all of that type of stuff. But you can anticipate, if you're going to live on this earth, you're going to experience all of these seasons. These same seasons exist in marriage. The difference is you can determine how long or how short each of these seasons are. If you are in a good season, and we'll show you which season that is, you can determine how long you choose to be in that good season. If you are in a bad season, and we'll tell you which one that is, you really have a major part to play in how long you stay stuck in that season. So while we can't control the seasons of the earth, God created it. He created a perfect system that allows us to function and thrive in this world. We are the creators, if you will, of our seasons. I think that's a really good point to make, because a lot of times many of you are saying, things aren't getting any better.
Right.
I don't know what's going on, but you have a role to play in this.
Yes, you have a micro season within your marriage, and so God is no respecter of person, right? So you're an individual with your individual purpose and passion and path and everything, and so oftentimes we're looking at our spouse and they're not changing, and so we don't change, and so we decide to get stuck in the same season that they're stuck in, right? Nobody feels stuck in summertime, right? Like, we're good with summertime. It's a good time. Nobody feels stuck in spring. It's great. It's really those fall, winter months where people start to feel stuck. And if you don't take control over your own life, you'll be stuck right along with your partner, but you can actually be a conduit to draw your partner out of a stuck place by changing how you experience
Absolutely. I got to go here. Wandile, if I'm sorry for pronouncing that wrong. Just discovered your channel today. Such amazing content and so much to learn. Thank you. We appreciate you. Welcome to the community. We're talking about the 4 seasons of marriage. So let's dive right in. And we're going to take our time with this because we want to make sure that you're getting the nuts and the bolts and squeezing the juices and the nourishment out of this particular session. But listen, here's the reality. Think about the season that you're in. Forget summer, winter, spring, fall. Are you in a good place or are you in a bad place? Most of you are here because there's been some challenge. There's been some form of betrayal. There's been some hurt and pain that has not been resolved, and you want to get to a better place, okay? So the place that you all want to get back to is the place where you started, where your relationship began. Now think about when you first met your spouse. There was, or when you were dating, in essence, that first day that you met them, there was that, okay, well, who's this, right? So now you get into a relationship. You know, we talk about these 4 seasons of a successful relationship. You got the dating season. That is the selection process. Then you have the committed courtship season. That is the getting to know you phase. Then you have the engagement season. That is your season of preparation. You're preparing to be the husband and the wife that you're going to wind up being. And then you have the 4th season, and that's marriage. And that should be the final frontier. Now, usually this in-love feeling lasts for about 2 years in the relationship. You're feeling good, you're connected, you love this person, and you want to take the relationship to the next level. You want to go deeper into your level of commitment. And so you get married, and now you have nuptials, and now you're husband and wife, and oh my God, the season is here. Well, what is the season we're talking about? We're talking about the spring season.
Yes, everything's blooming in the relationship. Everything feels good. Everything's beautiful. We're harmonious. Maybe there's a bun in the oven at some point or another, right? More blooming, more growing, more developing. It's that time when you can't do no wrong. You can't really do much wrong in spring because everything is we're discovering. You think about spring, right? Which we're coming up on, thank God. As soon as you start seeing Easter stuff at the Walmart and the Kroger's and all that, you know spring is on the way. And it's awesome because in your yard, think about where you live, you know there's that one bush that as soon as spring hits, it's going to start blooming these beautiful flowers, and all over your yard, beauty is just blooming everywhere. That's the spring time of your relationship, discovering new parts of your personality. So
if you're new in your relationship, it's the season of new beginnings, right? If you are married and you've gone through challenges and struggles, you want to get back to that season. So it's the season of new beginnings, right? You want something new. You want something fresh. You want to revive what you once had. It's the season of new beginnings. And there's an attitude or emotions that go along with the season of spring. Here we go. It's excitement, joy, happiness. When was the last time that you were there consistently? Because think about it, in any season, right, there's going to be storms, right? There's going to be storms in the summer season. There's going to be storms in the spring season, but it doesn't represent the overall season. So even when you're in a good space, you're going to have setbacks and challenges. Even when you're in a bad space, you're going to have good days, right? But you want to take those days and turn them into weeks. Those weeks, turn them into months. Those months, turn them into years. You want it to be a long, like you want to hold on to that moment and maximize that season of bliss all throughout the relationship.
Even at that, to your point, I think even at that time in springtime, you might say you get into an argument. At the end of the argument, you're like, babe, I just love how we resolve arguments. We just can hear each other. We speak each other's language, right? We just work. That was springtime. That's what we want to really work to get back to, but we've lost it going through all the seasons.
We have lost it. So listen, guys, we're talking about the seasons of marriage. You're watching the Couples Academy show. We're going to go to a quick break, but we'll be right back. Stay tuned for the Couples Academy show. If you're a man and you have a pulse, then you need to join this program. You're a husband, you're a father, you're a leader. You have the weight of the world on your shoulders. You have to be everything for everyone, but do you know who and how to be for you? You're still in search of your own significance. You're in internal battle with your own vices. You're questioning, do I even know what it means to be a man? I know I'm supposed to be there for others, but what about me? The fact is, you need a model. You need a code to live by, a system of principles to govern your life. You need an internal compass to guide your every decision. You need the 4 securities to build your own kingdom. What you need is the Foundry. In short, a foundry is a facility where castings are produced by melting metal, pouring liquid metal into a mold, and then allowing it to solidify. Well, this is where we're testing the mettle of men. Foundry is a 12-week men's-only coaching program. It is a brotherhood that will take each man through a purification process of the heart, mind, and soul. We here at Couples Academy promise you that if you give us 12 weeks of your life, you will no longer recognize it. If you care about the improving of your life, your marriage, and your family, register today.
Welcome back, everybody. You are watching the Couples Academy show, and we're talking about the 4 seasons of marriage, but you know what time it is. I got to acknowledge my family. So I want to make sure I say hello to Shalise Oliver in New Jersey. Nina Wright is joining us from Detroit. Jody Schallenberger is there, and Debbie is with us. And I love the comment Jody made. Loved our, no, that was not the one. Where's the comment about great topic to, sorry, we're both clicking it. You can click it. Jeez.
You still clicking it.
Great topic to follow up on the Triggers Masterclass. Glad we will be joining the Moving Forward family. So happy you reached out to us, Debbie and Jody. I'm so glad you guys are going to be joining the Moving Forward program. That is awesome. Good morning to Gonzalez. Good morning to Jewel and LaShonda D. Good morning. Hey. I want to say hello to Sean and Kagiso, all the way from South Africa, is tuning in. Sharon is in Harleysville, PA. Good morning, Vashan. Is Dolores by your side watching with us? Good to see you on here. Marlena Navarro is with us as well.
Good to see you.
Nina's with us. Sean. So many. Thank you guys. David Battle is with us for tuning in from New York. I'm trying to see if there's any other folks tuning in from out of the country, which would be interesting to acknowledge. I think that's it. We got Sabrina from Indiana. Welcome, everybody.
So Nina says, I'm choosing to live in joy in our marriage. That's awesome. So that really reinforces the point
That's
that we're
great.
making, that you choose the season. Like
Yes.
sometimes people get so caught up in the season that they're in that they can't see beyond their now, but there is life and a future beyond now. And I think if you're in a dark season, guys,
Yeah.
if you are in a dark season, you need to be preparing for the next season,
That's
right? And there's things that you need to do to prepare for it. And the more prepared you are for it, that's how you begin to transition out. But even when you're in a good season,
I was going to say that.
when you are in a good season, you need to prepare for that dark
You
season.
do, because everything, the way God does one thing is how he does everything. It's all cyclical, right? So it's not like, even though as much as some of us would love it, I would personally love all year round for it to be the season of fall. I love fall outside, right? But we know winter's coming. We know then spring, then summer, and it's going to be that cycle. And so you need to have a mindset of preparation. That's why I love that song, I'm Singing in the Rain. Sometimes you got to have a different attitude, even when you're going through, when it's raining, when it's pouring, when the weather is bad in your life and in your environment, you got to have a different energy about you so that you can get through it.
That's right. I think that's powerful. So there's something that I learned some time ago about farmers and agriculture. Every season when they're growing crops, sometimes there are storms, and the storms will wipe out the entire crop. And that could really affect the business, not only them financially, but it affects the distribution of food, and many people are impacted by that. So they built this system where they would dig these ditches around their crops so that when the rain came in, it wouldn't wash away the crops. The water would go into these dishes and surround the crops and then be filtered out. This is what they call building forgiveness into the land. I thought that was a powerful term, building forgiveness into the land. And so it's just like,
Somebody better go ahead and Google that.
it was powerful. So in essence, they say, we know it's going to come. We don't know when it's going to come, but we are going to be prepared for it. And we're going to build a system and put things in the environment that protect us from what we know is going to happen. Now, to your point, Danielle, things are cyclical. There are going to be days when you have rough days. But if you've built forgiveness into the marriage, and when I say forgiveness, I don't necessarily just mean the ability to forgive. When you put things in place with the anticipation that this may come, and if it does come, we already have our techniques, we already have our understanding, our agreements of how we're going to handle it. That's number one. But also, if we have daily deposits, we talk about this in Foundry, the importance of making daily deposits in your relationship. If your love tank is full and we experience a storm, well, we can weather that storm because you're already filled up.
Right.
Right. So
Yes.
your forgiveness of the situation is there because you're already built up, filled up. We're
Yes.
already connected. But if we're in a dark place, we're emotionally disconnected. We have bitterness, resentment. We're fussing, we're fighting. A storm can not only impact us in a negative way, it could destroy the marriage.
Absolutely.
Because some, if you think about storms and climate changes, you watch like Discovery Channel, you see all types of crazy stuff. Some people don't make it back. Some people die in a storm. And so the reality is, if you're focusing on developing a healthy foundation for your relationship, when the storms come, and they will,
Right.
you won't be washed away.
There's a powerful comment here from DFLO. It says, you are on point because I didn't prepare for the hard season that has put me in such a hard place to move forward. And it's just that you can't pour out of an empty cup, and this is why during those good seasons, you need to be filling up. You need to be taking on tools, learning, tuning into the Couples Academy show and reading books and everything so that when rough time comes, you already know how to move. You've already got the disaster plan for your marriage in place.
And this is why, in terms of foundation, how they built forgiveness into the land, they kind of helped with the foundation. That's why friendship has to be the foundation of your partnership. Like, we talk about the difference between marriage and relationship, right? Partnership versus companionship. But a lot of times people don't have as the foundation of their relationship a actual friendship. Because if we don't like each other, like if all we are passionate about each other and all we're doing is having sex with each other, but don't have a life outside of the bedroom, like we don't know how to talk, we don't know how to have fun, we don't
Just
have
resentment.
Yeah.
Just resentment. It's almost like a love-hate relationship. You know, especially if there are aspects about you that you like. Like if there are aspects about your partner that you enjoy. Like Hassani mentioned, the sex is great, all of that. You know, the person's good around the house, they clean, they pay the bills, but you just don't like the person.
Just don't like them.
It's a love-hate relationship, right?
It is.
There's no connection. So that means that you do the duties and that's it. You take care of business in the bed because I have to. It's my responsibility. We're married. You take care of the house. You take care of the kids, but there's no intimacy and there's no connection. So that when hell hits your house and everything is falling apart, you don't have anything to do but to run to your separate corners because you can't come to each other on an intimate level anymore. You never fostered that.
You have to be friends. I mean, think about the friends that you have in your life. Like when you feel like she don't understand me, let me go talk to Bob because Bob gets it. So your friend has a listening ear without judgment. Your friend just wants to get together and have a good time with you. Your friend, you could talk about anything and be free, but you don't feel that way with your spouse. Well, your best friend should ideally be your spouse. Ideally, that's what it should be. Now, that may not be your situation right now. You're going to have to work to that place, but I'm telling you, having a foundation of friendship in your relationship will keep you in your spring and summer season, even when you experience storms. Because sometimes crazy things happen. Like, oh my God, I don't even understand. And then it's not just about a bad day. Sometimes, to be honest with you, it just seems like we're just not connecting for some reason. Like, what's going on? When you have a friend, you can say, listen, let's sit down. Let's talk about, let's not bring emotions and feelings into it. Let's just talk about what's going on. What's going on, Danielle? Why in the world have these things been happening? So it allows you to,
I don't like you.
it allows you to debrief, but it also allows you to reset, right? You got to reset and say, all right, I don't know what this is about, but let's just get some clarity. Let's move forward and let's make this thing work.
Let's do this. Nina said this. We had a challenge from a power couple to tell your spouse on a daily, you are my best friend. You're my best friend, Hassani.
You're my best friend.
Yes.
The more you say it, the more you believe it, the more you believe it, the more you demonstrate it.
True, though. You know, like I could say to you, you're my best friend. You know what? I could say to you, Hassani, you are so funny. I'm lying. You are not funny. I'm funny, okay? But when I can say to you, when I can say to you in genuine heart and spirit, you are my best friend. There's a truth there. There's a power. There's a connection. That in and of itself means something because you'd be surprised how many couples do not consider themselves to be friends and cannot turn to each other and actually share the most intimate details of their heart, their fears, right? Their anxieties. They can't because they don't feel it's a vulnerable place for them. And that's crazy inside of a couple.
And if it's not true, speak to the seed and not the weeds.
Do we need to break it down?
We need to break it down. We'll come back right after this break. You're watching the Couples Academy show. Stay right there, guys. I hope you're getting something out of today's topic. There's more to come in just a second.
To the wives struggling to move forward, I know that you're hurt, filled with doubt, fear, anger, and resentment. I know you're trying to be your best self throughout this recovery process, all while still having to be mom, daughter, sister, friend, and so much more. I know it feels impossible to be there for everyone else when at times your journey feels so isolated and alone. I know that more than once a day, you scream on the inside, I can't take this anymore. I know there are days when you feel like you want to give up and run away. I know you spend too much time sitting in your car parked in the driveway to get your head right so that you can keep moving. I know this feels like a lot of work with no guarantees. And I know you wonder, what happened to me? Who am I? And why am I here? More than you'd like to admit. I know all of this because I once felt the way you do too. It may not be evident by looking around because we all wear our masks, but you're not the only one who feels like you'll never get back to you. That's why I've launched Unearthed. Unearthed is a 12-week group coaching program focused on discovering the woman within. Just as the earth hides all kinds of precious stones waiting to be found, Buried within every woman are the seeds of wisdom, strength, purpose, and passion waiting to be brought to the light. Unearthed will take you through a spiritual, emotional, and physical excavation process that will reveal to you who God designed you to be and guide you through a process to embrace and activate your true identity. When you complete this journey, you'll have a new focus aligned with your core values so that you can begin to feel your life again and discover that your gifts aren't buried, but planted and waiting to be unearthed. Register today.
Couples Academy is committed to serving couples around the world by reaching beyond cultural lines and language barriers. We are proud to announce that we now serve the Spanish-speaking community. So whether you're here in the United States or abroad, Couples Academy has a place for you.
Couples Academy se compromete a servir parejas de todo el mundo, superando las fronteras culturales y las barreras del idioma. Ahora, estamos orgullosos de anunciar que servimos a la comunidad de habla hispana. Entonces, ya sea que estés aquí en los Estados Unidos o en el extranjero, Couples Academy está aquí para servirle.
All right, guys, we're back here watching the Couples Academy show. Gonzalez, he says, we can honestly admit that we have entered back into our spring season. We used to be in a storm that was trying to separate what God had put together. Now we are enjoying our joy and found our happiness. Thank you, Couples Academy and staff. You certainly are, because you are on that island, not an island, you're in Mexico, right? Celebrating your 22nd anniversary. You're in your spring season, my brothers. And I'm excited about that because they came to the Couples Academy retreat and they said, this was good, but we need to take a deeper dive. They came to the Last Chance weekend, and I think it was in September. And here we are in February, just a few months after that. Their marriage has completely transformed. Like literally, they were done. They were done. Matter of fact, Jules says this all the time. When she came to the Last Chance weekend, she was just like, I'm gonna go only because you want to go, but I already have my apartment picked out. I already know what I'm going. Like she had everything planned and ready to go. And it was something about that weekend. And so some of you are so determined that it's over, that you're moving on, that there's no life in this relationship. Give this thing a chance. You will be amazed at what comes out of this experience, what comes out of your spouse, what comes out of you. That's what this thing is all about.
You better go ahead. What comes out of you?
What comes out? Because there's some stuff in you that do need to come out. Okay, exorcisms and all types of stuff that need to come out of you. We can make it happen at the Last Chance weekend. Yeah. So we're talking about the spring season. Okay, let's go back to that slide because I want you to see visually what we're talking about. In this spring season, it's the season of new beginnings. We're talking about excitement and joy and happiness, but there are actions associated with it, right? This is the season where if you're in a relationship, you have a new attitude again, a new mindset. You're engaging in activities. Think about it. When spring comes out, don't you want to get out the house?
Yes.
Like, man, the weather's incredible. Let's get out. Let's go for a walk. Let's do something. You're going on dates again. You're having sex. There's trust. There's recreation. You're learning to love each other. It's just a wonderful place to be in.
I'm ready for some spring right now. My gosh.
Well, we can make that happen right after this show.
Have to have the silent moment.
We can make that happen right after this. There's only a couple more minutes.
I think Gonzalez said we need to get a room.
Well, that's okay too. We got one right over there. Okay. And this is what you want. You want to be able to laugh with your partner. You want to be playful.
Yes.
And I'm telling you guys, I don't care how bad your situation is. I don't care what you think can't be done in your marriage. There's too many examples of those who have turned their situation around, and you can too. So if you're in your fall or in your winter season, the question is, how do you get back to spring? You got to do the work.
You got to do the work. I like this comment from Robin. She says, I'm in the storm, but I'm showing up the correct way. But my husband wants to stay stuck. I plan to join Unearthed in April. I'm glad that you're planning to join Unearthed in April, because at the end of the day, you got to get to the point where you're willing to draw a circle around your own 2 feet and work on you. When you grow, when you develop as a person, when you become someone new, you force your entire environment to change. People cannot behave the same around you if you're a different person. So sometimes you got to be the one to take the lead.
And real talk, we say this all the time. I was the one in the relationship who took the lead. So if that's you right now and you're like, well, my spouse is not on board, they're not interested, they're not willing to do the work, it feels like I'm doing everything. Okay. All it takes is one to initiate a process. And then through your consistency, things will change. And this is the challenge, because a lot of us, when we don't see that our spouse has the same zest, fervor, passion for what we want, we are quick to throw in the towel, call it quits, give up, convince ourselves that ain't nothing gonna change, no, it will change, because you are the lowest common denominator in your life and in your relationship. And when you begin to look internally at yourself and do the necessary work, it will change and transform your relationship. Your marriage becomes the number one beneficiary of your personal change. So what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Take the first step and know that this is a dance. And when you're dancing with your partner, there's steps that you take, and then there's steps that the other person takes. One person takes the lead, right? And maybe right now you're in the season where you're taking the lead, but it's okay. But your mindset attached to your actions is everything. If you're taking the lead and doing the work, but you're showing up frustrated, you got a cynical look, you're still distant, even though you're doing these tasks and duties because it's the right thing to do, it's not going to work. It's got to come from a genuine place. They've got to feel it. And slowly but surely things will turn around. Now, you don't wake up the next day and boom, you're in spring if you are in winter. It doesn't happen like that. If you think about how seasons transition into others, think about it. We're in winter, but yesterday was really nice. You get a glimpse of what's to come, right? A glimpse of it. It's not a hard switch and change. And some of you are waiting for some quick, hard, fast shift and change. Otherwise, you don't become a believer, because you had one good day, 3 bad days. That was a fluke.
But don't we have the ability to look towards the future? Like right now, I'm looking forward to spring, right? But we're in winter, and I do not like winter, y'all. I can't stand being cold. A matter of fact, coming to Georgia, I thought I would not have to be cold. Somebody lied. But guess what? I'm in winter, and I cannot wait until spring. And so if you have that mindset and you have the ability to anticipate a promised future, you already have one step in the right direction as to how you need to move towards that future, because it starts here, everybody. It starts here. Most of us are defeated in our heart and in our mind long before somebody said no or a door was closed in our face. We have to overcome ourselves first. And when we do that, wow, everything starts to open up for us in the future.
There it is.
I want to jump to this comment real quick. LaShonda, she's one of my Unearthed attendees, members, sisters, and friends. And she says, yes, Unearthed is life-changing, ladies, do it. And that's what we do in there. We work on digging ourselves out of the pit of our own lives. We work on us. Because I can't be a better version of you. I can't be your friend. I can't do anything right if I'm buried under all of my own issues and idiosyncrasies.
So maybe there's 4 seasons operating within you.
Absolutely.
You get out of your winter, your fall season, back to your own individual spring season, and bring that climate into the relationship, and boom.
Right. Absolutely.
LaShonda, she also said something else. She said, wow, so important to having the tools and doing the work to be prepared for unexpected seasons, Not all storms look the same. Back to building a storm-proof foundation with my best friend. This is what I'm talking about. You just brought that whole thing back together. That's right. And so think about it. Think about in Florida, right, in parts of the Carolinas, when there's the storm season, you see them putting like they're boarding up their windows and because a storm's coming through, a tornado watch, we're preparing, we're getting anchored.
Sometimes, don't they do that?
That's right. And so the point is, think about this, guys. They're living a life of anticipation. They're paying attention to the weather, to the climate. They're seeing what's happening. Think about when New Orleans many, many years ago had the devastation. Some weren't aware. They were hit with something that they did not prepare for, and so many lives were lost. So it's important to pay attention to the climate that you're in and knowing when to be anchored down and stay and when to get out of there, because you're fighting for your life. And in your relationship, you are fighting. You're fighting for your life in your marriage. And these are the things you have to do. We're talking about spring, guys. Listen, tomorrow we're going to go into the very next season. So I hope you're getting something out of this conversation. We love you. Tune in. And just know that tonight is Ask the Experts. So any questions you have, that is the place where you want to meet. Listen, we'll see you tomorrow for another great episode.
See you guys.
Take care.